Now today, this is all about us, the people, and it's not about the politicians. Now, believe it or not, we had some politicians wanting to come and speak, and I refused, because I'm sure we've heard so much from politicians about what they're going to do, and when we look round, they've done actually absolutely nothing at all. There are expressions I could use, but from standing up here on the lectern, perhaps I'd better not. But this is a different way of looking at things, and whether this will work or not is down to a very, very good patriot of this country, Neil Petrie. I've known him a long time, and he's come all the way down now from the East Midlands to talk to us. Neil, it's over to you.
Right, thank you all for coming. I'm from the direct democracy movement, and we're the biggest enemy of Klaus Schwab, because we believe in you. They are most frightened of the people having the vote, not just once every few years, but routinely, and that's what we're about. Now, the direct democracy movement is not a party, but we are a movement, as I said, and we are building a base of helpers and voters now. Now, what I'm saying to you is that the parties are not the problem directly, it's the system that is the problem. This is the issue that we've got, and so we need to be taking control. I say the party's over, basically, and representative democracy is disintegrating right in front of our eyes, as we can see. So what we need is a people-led democracy, not an elite-led democracy. Now, I'll just tell you quickly about a friend of mine who was looking at an election recently. Lib Lab Con, the usual lot there on the offer, and then below them was Reform. He sent a note to them saying, what about your MP that you're going to put forward? Is he going to be interested in his personal, his party, or is it going to be the people? Is he going to be listening to the people? So he waited for an answer, he got a boilerplate answer, and he did not get the answer that he wanted. So he wrote back to him and said, this is rubbish. I've asked you the question, you haven't come back to me with the details. So that guy came round from Reform and started talking, but he did not commit to what this fellow was talking about, even though our fellow was talking to him about block vote, which I'll explain a bit more about in a moment. But block vote gives you all the opportunity to vote on a highly secure system, better than any government one. Now, so you're all wondering, with all the problems that we've got, is there a way out? And I'm telling you, there is. That's what we're delivering. Now, I'm going to say, we normally talk about 1066 and all that. I'll be talking about 1848 and all that. Because 1848 was the birth of a first nation in the West picking up on direct democracy and incorporating it into its constitution. But that same year, you had communism. And how is that doing? All right? That's when the Communist Manifesto came out. 1848 was also the year of revolution across Europe, where lots of representative democracies failed, but some stumbled on. So that was really the birth of representative democracies for many people, and we're seeing it failing already. Now, so we've had a 175-year experiment, basically, since then. And how's all that going? How are the representative democracies doing? They're controlled, aren't they? All we're seeing is they are agents of the interests. Labour Party will be the unions or the government workers, whoever it is, and then for the Conservatives, it's the money elite. Okay, for communism, it's just a killing machine. President Xi is killing Uyghurs now, taking kidneys out of Falun Gong people, etc. And the hybrid in Switzerland that has got part representative and part direct democracy, that is thriving and still free, and gives us an example that others have already followed in Taiwan and Estonia. I'll give you some facts and stats just to back up what I'm saying. When they've done surveys around the world of the people who are happy with the system that they live under politically, Switzerland comes number one, 75%. We're at 42%. We're down at the bottom. Well, actually, we're on the average, exactly 42. So they're very high, 75. America's only down at 35. People are not happy with their system, but the ones who've got control are. So, one thing you'll find interesting, and I was particularly with I heard the lady speaking there, education, everything in Switzerland, because it's run on the system of part direct, they get a say in the education system down at county level. They call them cantons over there. But they control it. The people control the education system, and there are 26 cantons there, and they can all choose whatever education system they want, and the parents run it. That is what direct democracy brings you. None of this rubbish from central government. We, the people, should be running this. And it's not as though haven't got rid of the parties. They still have parties because you need people to do the work. And you need referendums. You can only get a referendum on a law coming out of Parliament. So they send it out, and then the people can decide. If they get 50,000 signatures in Switzerland, they can get a referendum, and there's a national referendum, first past the post. A very simple system. They've also added to that, they've got initiatives so that the people can tell them what they want them to do as well. Not always politely, maybe, but anyway, there we go. The other thing, on the financial side, you can see the effects of this because the people are leading that country and they're happy with it. Okay? What you've got is, they have, in terms of income, they've got double our income. They are twice the average salary. You can check all this on Google. Every figure I've got is off websites. The average salary there, as I say, is 91,000. Ours is about half that exactly. National debt, though, their national debt is half per head because they're controlling the purse strings. They can't give all of their crony contracts out to their crony mates. This is the difference that you get with direct democracy because you and me and all of us have a say in how we're governing our own country. That is what democracy means, I thought. That's why I took an interest in this long time ago. We should be running this, not party politicians in the pockets of rich groups and also now the UN, the WHO and all the rest of them. So, a couple more just to round up on the financial side. In terms of disposable income, they've got about $6,000 a month on average disposable income. It's the world leading, number one. In terms of millionaires, people who've got assets of $1 million, 3 times Britain, 16%, we've got 5%, and those people over there, there's about 8.5 million of them over there, people, but you've got, they're number one in the world. So, why is it so good? Quickly then, the referendums which I was explaining to you, because you can call a referendum on any law coming out of Parliament. So the parliamentarians have to do a much better job of putting their laws together to come out to us. Then, we then get the final say on them, on those referendum or on the initiative. You can put forward initiatives and do exactly the same. So, why do they rule so well? Because they're completely involved. If you were involved in the lawmaking, you'd be taking interest. You'd want to be informed, and that's exactly what they do. And they've been doing this for 175 years, and so have the communists. And nearly 1/5 of humanity is under President Xi's control now. And he wants Taiwan, and he wants Japan, and he wants the Philippines, and everywhere else with the Silk and Road Initiative, etc. Now, there's a bit of work involved for you. You've got to vote 4 times a year on average in Switzerland, but you control it. You've got double the salary, you've got half the debt, and you've got control of your children's future. It sounds a pretty good bargain to me. Now, the other thing is, the politicians only work 12 weeks of the year there, and they only get paid a daily rate. That's it. They're getting paid a daily rate, no salary, thank you very much, because they're under our control. That's how it works over there. There's another good one, I thought. The SNP, there's 5.4 million people in Scotland. There's over 8.5 million in Switzerland. How can these part-timers do it? And we've got full-time SNP and all the rest of it, but wherever it is, London as well, they're working full-time, taking a nice big fat salary and going caravanning in the summer. There we go. Right. Now, the UK hybrid, we could apply this here. It may seem strange, but the top constitutional lawyer in our history was a guy called Dicey, and he ended up seeing how crooked the parties were in the 1890s. Top constitutional lawyer, world famous. This guy ended up saying, we need referendums. That's what he realised. We should get rid of the House of Lords, he said, and the final arbiter should be the people using referendums on major issues. And that's all the Swiss have done. They don't, you can't get a referendum on every subject coming out of the law, but if you get 50,000 signatures together, you've got the chance to have your referendum. That's the difference. So, I'll just quote you quickly. He said that the referendum is the only check on the predominance of party, and he ended up saying, I am quite certain that once established, the referendum would never be gotten rid of by anything short of a revolution. That's telling us. He's one of the top lawyers ever, and he realises how important this was, and that the people, because the nation was not represented, the parties are crooks. They've been crooks in his time, and they've just got worse because we've now got international crooks running our country. The thing to remember is that only about 15% of our nation is really woke, but the trouble is a lot of them are at the top. A lot of them have come out of the fancy universities, and they're now running the state through the party apparatus, and they're crooks. They are taking on the take, not all of them, a good number though, we have seen them well enough. By the way, just so you know, more up-to-date supporter, Elon Musk is a supporter of direct democracy. He believes in it, but he wants it for Mars. Well, I want it here on Earth, thank you very much, Elon. Now, ultimately, globalization is about the eradication of our nations and our cultures, as we've heard tonight, or today. Direct democracy protects who you love and what you love from Klaus and his like. That's the reality. I'll ask you to ask one question. I've only got a few seconds left. Should some crook in the UN or the WHO or the Fed in America make your laws, or should it be the people of our nation? That's it. That's direct democracy. I've written a book on it, by the way, for you. Just coming out shortly. One vote away. Hopefully you remember that one. And the block voting app is available for people to use as well. And we are asking independents and people who are interested in direct democracy to apply this. This is the counter to Klaus Schwab. Don't forget, it's the only way to control the globalists. We scare them to death, because then you will control it and not these clowns, and not dictators in China and other nations. So we're at the back there with Alan, and we've got our table there. So please, if you want to come and ask any questions, come and see us. And you can sign up if you wish for the block vote or the party. We don't charge anything, so don't worry about that. But we'd like your support. So thank you all very much for coming.